I rise in opposition to House Bill 4539, and there's a lot of reasons. I think my colleague enumerated some of the serious financial challenges that school districts will face if we pass this bill, but it's really more just disappointed. We've been talking about roads for a long time. There's been discussions, there's been debate, there's been long sessions, there's been conversations, there's been negotiating, and this plan that we see today is what we get. A half-baked plan to do nothing and pretend you're doing something. But it's even worse. The something that you're doing is actually cutting money for schools and local units of government. I think everybody in the state saw a lot of ads this last cycle about education funding and whether or not it was cut or whether it wasn't, but I don't think the Detroit Free Press is going to have any problems determining that this is an actual cut to education. And it's actually, I could say a lot about this, but I'm going to use some of the words that my colleagues on the other side and in the administration have used, talking about the sound fiscal management that's been going on in the state over the last 3 years. On February 17th of 2011, I sat in the Appropriations Committee along with members of the Tax Committee and others while the governor, Lieutenant Governor Calley, and then Budget Director John Nixon proclaimed, quote, that the days of kicking the can down the road are over, and that the citizens of this state demanded prudent fiscal management, and that hadn't happened for decades, and that budget would help prevent ongoing future shortfalls that would fall on the next generation. Now, I disagreed with that budget, along with every Democrat that was here, but at least it was paid for. At least the tax cuts were paid for. And I've been in the Appropriations Committee for 4 years. I've served with former Chair Chuck Moss and our current chair. We've got a lot of good people on there. They're smart. They get it. They understand that we have money coming in and money going out. And I can recall fondly my colleague and friend from Southwest Michigan challenging every one of the Democratic amendments that went up in the last budget with a simple question: where's the money going to come from? And I guess now, looking back, I should have just told him that we're writing a check that's drawn on the bank of projected growth. And that'll do it. The last year we passed the budget, Democrats offered about 70 amendments in the Appropriations Committee. And as soon as we were done, there was a press release written about how irresponsible it was to propose spending without identifying the sources of revenue to replace it. The chair of the Appropriations Committee said, and I quote, "The simple truth is that the amendments we've seen coming from House Democrats are not serious attempts to help the people of this state, but to write checks they know can't be cashed." He went on to say, "Putting together a state budget that works takes a lot more than simply filling out a wish list and hoping someone else will cover the cost." He then went on to say, he's looking forward, or the amendments that we put forward without knowing where the money's coming or without having further discussions on that were not appropriate. When the Democrats put together a budget proposal 2 years ago, a spokesman for the other side said that, quote, "undefined and unreliable sources of revenue are not a good basis for a state budget." Where is the revenue that's going to replace this money? I've talked to colleagues. It'll be there. We'll guarantee it. It'll happen. There's no reason to worry. We'll guarantee that the money's there. I don't know how many times I've been lectured by people on the other side of the hour about you can't get something for nothing, that you have to pay for it. And Democrats have all these wish lists and hopes about paying for things, but we have to make tough budget decisions. This is not a tough budget decision, let's be honest. This is a political joke. It's a charade. It's an opportunity to pander and posture that you're not going to raise taxes to fix roads. Everybody knows you need new revenue. You know, and I was wondering about one of the bills we passed earlier today, and I figured out why we did it. Because if you believe in this bill, you believe in faith-based economics. And that's assuming that you believe sorcery or voodoo constitute a sincerely held religious belief. To say that this bill is an accounting gimmick insults accounting gimmicks. This bill should have been referred to the Committee on Hocus Pocus rather than discharged to the floor and dignified with a vote. This bill insults the intelligence of the people that have worked hard to find a real solution to the real problem of fixing our infrastructure in Michigan. I urge members who are serious and came here to solve problems to reject this. Thank you.
Madam Speaker, on the question of final passage of House Bill 4539, there are 56 aye votes and 53 nay votes.
Majority of the members elected and serving having voted therefore, the bill is passed.